What up, though, Lions fans? You know, the Motor City Cats are back at it. Came to give you stats and not static. Whatever you do, keep your Lions news pragmatic. It's your boy, Motor City Don P. This is the Motor City Cats podcast. And the victory buffs are in the shop. But, you know, we'll have them back when we have them back. But we're going to get to it, man. It's another victory Tuesday, you know, getting my old man on. The game. San Francisco 49ers had it was BTA. Now, from the offensive side of the football, offense was doing the BTA. I feel like, and I said it during the live stream, that the game did change right after that BTA Selly. What up, though, Paul Thomas? That's right. Smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. If you're talking, you subscribe. We on that race. And obviously, it's going to have to be 2025 when we get to 1,000 subscribers. I was wasting some time getting subscribers for others, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. Here's Johnny. What up, though? Here's Johnny. What up, though, Paul Thomas? I hope you guys are having a wonderful Victory Tuesday. We didn't have a lot of Victory Tuesdays because we didn't play a lot on Mondays, but both of the times we played on Monday, the next day was Victory Tuesday or Victory Tuesday. Kirby Joseph changed the game, bro. Kirby Joseph did change the game. I'm being facetious when I say the BTA Selly changed it. It wasn't really a Selly that changed it. It was the play of Kirby Joseph. And we're going to get into all of those things momentarily. But again, the Detroit Lions go into Santa Clara, Levi's Stadium, and beat the San Francisco 49ers. Now, I should have known, based off of the way that this season goes, for no other reason, or not the way that this season goes, but this season has gone, for no other reason than that there was a streak to be broken, that the Detroit Lions would have beat the San Francisco 49ers. The Detroit Lions had not beat the San Francisco 49ers in San Francisco or Santa Clara or whatever, in California, okay, since 1975. And I should have known that Dan Campbell and these Lions were just gonna win based off of that. You didn't need any narrative about it's a revenge game and this got to get that get back, and we left some stuff in Levi's Stadium and we came to get it back, and no. We didn't need none of that. Just all you needed was the streak. I think the only streak that we didn't bust this season was the Buffalo Bills streak. I don't think we've beat the Bills since forever, bro. I don't remember the last time, but I think that's a streak, and that's the only one that we didn't bust. And we could have busted it, but there was some issues, and the same issues cropped up last night, and the same issues are going to. They're going to keep some of us fans up at night when it comes to going into the Vikings game and when it comes to going into the playoffs. The defense yesterday was not good. And I'm going to sit here and tell you, and I'm going to say this, and to Paul Thomas's delight, I'm going to say fire AG is not something that I'm going to say. You thought I said it, Paul Thomas. I mean, I said it, but I didn't really say it, okay? Fire AG is not something you're going to hear me say. Our defensive line has DJ Reader on it. If you remember, our defensive line at the start of the season was Aleem McNeil, DJ Reader, Aidan Hutchinson, Marcus Davenport. Out of that group, it's just DJ Reader. He's the only one left. Okay. What up, though, J-Rod? Our linebacking core is Jack Campbell. If you remember, the beginning of the season, our linebacking core was Jack Campbell. It was Alex Anzalone. It was Derek Barnes. Jack Campbell's the only one left. Now, we know that we're going to get Alex Anzalone back. Hopefully, we get him back for the Vikings tilt. But right now, it's Alex Anzalone. Our secondary is missing Carlton Davis. Carlton Davis was a huge piece of the secondary. But if you look at the situation, our secondary has to cover more. We have to generate more pressure. We have to manufacture pressure. We have to blitz. We have to do all types of things to get the quarterback to the ground. And we did get 2 sacks of Brock Purdy. Brian Branch got 1. And Miles Adams. Miles Adams, number 66. We were all like, who the hell is that guy? I was like, great job, number 66. Who is that? I don't know. Okay. Miles Adams, if you guys don't remember, we signed him from Seattle's practice squad the same week that we brought in Quan Alexander and Jamal Adams. That's the guy that got a sack yesterday. Against the Bears, AQM got a sack. You remember we signed AQM early on when we lost Hutch. AQM was a guy that bounced around, and he did play for the Bears. He played for the Saints. He's on practice squads here and there. But he's been pretty solid, I guess, right? You got Pascal out there missing tackles. So there's a lot that we can say about this defense. We can't say that it's particularly good. But what we can say, because the speculation has been, is this Detroit Lions team the team to beat because this defense won't hold up in the playoffs? This defense is better than what we had last year in the playoffs. Kyle Shanahan said it himself. Okay? Yes, we did give up 34 points yesterday. Yes, it could have been more, but that's not on the defense. That's special teams, and Jake Moody is terrible. We're going to get into Jake Moody being terrible. I'll say it. There's really no reason to circle back to Jake Moody. I don't think Jake Moody has a job next season because you can't be in the NFL kicking the way that he's kicking. As I've said before, Michigan fan right here, through and through, go blue. Shout out to Michigan beating Alabama. Didn't watch it. Haven't watched a single college football game all season. Boycotted it because I knew Michigan was going to be terrible. But they won their bowl game. They beat Oh Hell No State, so it is what it is. Jake Moody, every time he stepped up to kick a football, not a field goal, a football, as a University of Michigan Wolverine, I was not confident. Okay, he's always been shaky. So he comes out and he misses, 2 field goals and an extra point? Absolutely horrendous. 2 field goals and an extra point is 7 points. We beat them by 6. Now, the game changes, and I've said this before, the game changes when the score changes. Things change. Everything is not the same. You can't just say, well, if they had gotten those 7 points from Jake Moody, then they would have beat us. That's just not how it works. You know, a drive is different, you know, after a made field goal than a missed field goal. Okay, a sense of urgency, a play call is different here, a play call is different there, and the outcome is different. So you can't ever say, well, they missed these points, and if they had gotten those points, they would have won. Just like the Packers versus the Minnesota Vikings. Oh, had they kicked that field goal in the first quarter, then they would have won the game because they only lost by 2. Not so much. Not so fast, my friends. So before I get into some of the other stuff, let me get to some of your comments in the chat as I do. So watching the Lions guy, Don Pete, that is me, Motor City Don Pete, Mr. Mofo. Now I don't want to call him Chef. That was a different channel. It was a different channel, different time in my life. Mr. Donald P. To be fair, to Don is actually short for Donovan. That is a thing that I'll tell you about myself. Donnie P is what I say. He's a Yuta. Jake Moody, pest control. How can we help you today? Pest control, selling insurance, something. He's got to be doing something other than being an NFL kicker. And now I had to answer why the Lions were not interested. Again, let's address the energy. I was having a hard time getting up for that game as a fan. The Detroit Lions, I don't think they had a hard time getting up for the game offensively. Defensively, they are what they are. Okay? Defensively, they're just, again, that's the worry that we have, but we're just missing so many players. It is not because we have bad coaches or we have a bad coordinator or it's you, how much. And the reason that I don't rock with the national media in this is because there are many in the national media that couldn't wait. They couldn't wait to pour salt into the wound, to dump dirt on the grave, to just bury the Lions because they're mad. We had a troll when I was streaming the path to the 1 seed. It was the Green Bay Packers versus the Minnesota Vikings, and we had a Minnesota Vikings troll. His name was the Great One. So you'll probably see him next week trolling in the chat when we are playing the Minnesota Vikings, but hopefully the trolling that he does will subside by the end of the game because we fully expect the Detroit Lions to take care of business. But this troll echoed the sentiments of a lot of the national media where he refused to respect the Detroit Lions. Oh, the Detroit Lions just got good. The Packers and the Vikings, that's the real rivalry in the NFC North, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Quoting all the Vikings are 88-44 against the Lions all time. Okay. What does that have to do with this week? What does that have to do with this week? And if you look back over the last 3-4 years, the Lions have had the Vikings number. Okay? The Lions have had the NFC North's number. Okay? We won the division in Minnesota. Okay? But not to get too much into that. It's just, I can see that there are issues with all of these second, third, fourth, fifth teamers that we have to roll out there. Our answer to Ezekiel Turner being in coverage was to throw Germ out there in coverage. And you saw he let up a big play against, who was that? Juszczyk, who just ran down the sideline, and he let up a big pass that, had he been better in coverage, had he been in a better spot in the zone, he could have done something about it. Okay? But this is what we have right now. And this is the thing that worries a lot of us. But let's get into some of this game. K Press says, do you think Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes going to grab some people from special teams to help with the defense for the Vikings game? They have to. The help is not on the way. The only help that's on the way could be, and it's big help, is Anzalone. And obviously we will see how he goes throughout the week and see if he plays. Our original studs still playing. We're hitting mofos. Jack Hammer, Campbell, K. Joe, BB, A-Rob, Iffy, Sub-Zero. He got picked on some. That's true. They're the original. Our secondary is mostly intact. We're missing Carlton Davis. Shout out Amik Robertson. Has been balling since he moved to the outside. Amik Robertson was the highest graded PFF, or the highest PFF graded Lions defender. I don't know how. Okay? I don't know how. But this is the thing. This is why I feel like PFF is inaccurate. And PFF goes on metrics that no one understands and they don't make any sense. And we know that Chris Collinsworth owns it. So it's probably has something to do with Patrick Mahomes. Like every game probably has something to do with Patrick Mahomes. The way that Patrick Mahomes is graded is probably the standard, and then you curve it down for like how would this defender have played against Patrick Mahomes while he plays against Brock Purdy? You know what I mean? Like how would this defender have or this offensive player have played against the Chiefs? And how would he have rivaled what Patrick Mahomes does while he plays against Sam Darnold? PFF has, they have their own formulas. Okay? I think Kirby Joseph obviously should be the highest defender. I mean, the man had, what did he have? 2 picks, 2 passes defense, and 5 solo tackles, six all total. I mean, Amik was fine in coverage, and that must have been it. Like maybe his coverage grade was the highest, but at the end of the day, it should have been Kirby. All right, so let's get into a few of the stats, because I do have some things that I do want to say. Okay, I've got a few things that I want to not get off my chest, but I want to put it out there. So let's pull up this box score. Now, let's start it off here. Let's start it off with Jahmyr Gibbs. And this is going to be a fun one. Because while I was thinking about nicknames, well, not while I was thinking about nicknames. I'm the nickname guy. I gave Jahmyr Gibbs the nickname The Electrician, which is a fantastic nickname. Sonic is cool. Okay, Sonic is cool. It's okay, but it isn't The Electrician. I dubbed Jared Goff Vanilla Vic. Now I'm not gonna take credit for the nickname Vanilla Vic. I think somebody called Danny Dimes Vanilla Vic one time, but I did give that name to Jared Goff. Who else did I nickname on the team? I think that's it. But while I was listening to something earlier, they were talking about Jahmyr Gibbs, and something dawned on me. Let's look at Jahmyr Gibbs' stats really quickly here. Jahmyr Gibbs, just rushing the football, had 18 carries for 117 yards and a touchdown. Okay? Jahmyr Gibbs, let me say that again, had 18 carries, 117 yards, and a touchdown. Do you guys want to do the math? Blue Lightning's not it, J-Rod. Do you guys want to do the math? Or do you want me to tell you how many yards per carry that is? I'll tell you. It's 6.5 yards per carry. Jahmyr Gibbs, in an entire game, just his second entire game as the feature back because of David Montgomery's injury, has a game where he averaged, not just from scrimmage, running the football against an NFL team for an entire game, 18 carries worth, 6.5 yards per carry. Do you know how difficult that is? And it's not like he had a long of 70. It's not like he had a long of 80. And then he was just kind of, because remember Saquon Barkley in his Giants days? That's what Saquon Barkley was doing. Saquon Barkley was averaging 2 yards a carry. And then he would break off an 80-yard run. And then you're like, oh, man, he 5 yards per carry. No. It was most of that game, it was just 2 yards in a cloud of dust or 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And then he had one long breakout run. That's not what Jahmyr Gibbs did. Jahmyr Gibbs' long was 30. He dominated throughout the game. So, I think he added another 40 yards. Let's see. Receiving, Jahmyr Gibbs had 4 receptions for 46 yards at 11.5 yards per touch. 5 yards per reception. So here it is. They call Jahmyr Gibbs Ja. And we're going to call him Ja Rule. What would I do without you, baby? We be like you and I, tear for tear, an eye for an eye. You know that my heart won't cry. Ja Rule. Jahmyr Gibbs, okay? Jahmyr Gibbs is not. It's not gonna stick because we understand how things ended with Ja Rule. They didn't end great, but Ja is ruling the NFL right now. So it is only fair. And it was different. Ja Rule was J.A. Rule. It's his name is Jeffrey Atkins. Okay, that's where you got the Ja Rule from, like Jeffrey Atkins rule. But Jahmyr Gibbs, Jahmyr. So Jahmyr Gibbs, if you want to call him Ja Rule, you can. You got it from me. You heard it here first. Listen, were there questions about Jahmyr Gibbs being drafted at 12? Yes. Were people calling Brad Holmes all types of idiots and all types of things that have nothing to do with that man's name? Yes, they were. Not Ja. Brad Holmes looks really smart right now. He looks really smart right now. The pick was not a running back. And if it was a running back, it was Bijan Robinson. Why didn't you stay put and take Bijan Robinson at number 6? Blah, 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 blah. Who is Jahmyr Gibbs? Well, the answer to the question is Jahmyr Gibbs is a dog. Jahmyr Gibbs has probably, and I've said this before, he's probably in the top running back in the league conversation if he is not splitting carries. Does anybody think, again, and I've said this before, does anybody think that if you do not, or if you put him, you change places with Saquon Barkley, you change places, you put him on the Eagles, you put Saquon Barkley on the Lions, just for this thought exercise, not saying that I want them to switch places or anything. Does anybody think that Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't already have the record? Does anybody think that Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't actually break the record, which was set in 16 games? In 16 games. I'm putting an asterisk. Now, I know that there's people out there that have said, okay, well, Eric Dickerson broke O.J. Simpson's record, and O.J. Simpson did it in 14 games, and Eric Dickerson did it in 16. Okay, cool. That's fine. Modern football right now. How long did we play 16 games? 40 years? Something like that? Yes. Somewhere around there. Okay? Maybe more. 17-game season, if Roger Goodell and the boys have their way, is not going to last very long. The 17-game season is up for renegotiation at the end of this current collective bargaining agreement. I think it's within the next 5 years, right? They're trying to go to 18 games. Okay? So this era of 17 games in the history of NFL football, when you look back on it, is not going to be a very long era. It's not going to last. So it's a funny kind of thing because I think if they do actually get to 18 games, they're eventually going to try to get to 20. And I don't know what they're going to do with that. You know, when you're going to wipe out the entire preseason, and the regular season is going to be basically 4 preseason games and 16 regular season games because teams will not have any work. There won't be a preseason. So I don't know how they're going to do that, but I think that the 18-game season, if they actually go to it, is going to be what stands the test of time. Now, I could be completely wrong, and then the players could stand up and say, we're not doing it, we're not adding an extra game, and there could be a lockout, there could be a strike, there could be whatever the case. I don't think that happens because there's too much money involved. And so, like I said, I could be completely wrong. In some way, this 17-game season model could stand the test of time for the next 40, 50 years. But I digress. Let me get to some of your comments. J Rod says no. What? LOL. Bluegrass Wolverine. Hope Gibbs has better teeth than Ja Rule. Yes. I want Kirby Joseph to get paid. Kirby Joseph's getting paid. Brian Holmes is really smart, though. One of the reasons I like him, he isn't a DEI hire. Shout out Booner. If you know, you know. I'm not calling Booner a DEI hire. Nickname okay is the singing Don B. Okay, I am not ignoring you. So look, Ja Rule, Jahmyr Gibbs, the electrician, Sonic, Supersonic, as he was yesterday. He did all the things that he needed to do to shut the mouths of anyone who doubted the pick at number 12. Big Will Sad says, I'll be tailgating Sunday. Now, if you guys permit me, I'm going to get on my soapbox right quick. And I am going... this is gonna be a segment. This is gonna be a clip. So bear with me for a little bit, okay? Bear with me for a little. I'm gonna get on my soapbox. There's a man in a town. The 313. Note it down. He is the baddest mofo, pound for pound, that you ever seen around. He is the baddest mofo for show. Did you know? And if you didn't know, peep the flow. Here go. Waymo Jamo. There's a bad man way over town. Waymo Jamo getting down. And it was haters aplenty that didn't want him to succeed. It was haters aplenty that wanted to see that man bleed. Yes, I'm coming off the top of the dome. This is all freestyle. I'm in my Ali bag right now. There were haters aplenty lined up in a row that said that man can't do it. They was talking J-Mo. There was haters aplenty that was tired of his act. There was haters aplenty who said he was a bad guy, matter of fact. They didn't want to see him do it. They said he couldn't reach 1,000. I can't find nothing that goes with 1,000, so that's pretty much it. But J-Mo is part of a historic offense. What is the history that the Lions have made this year? Because last year, the Lions had a backfield that was historic. I'll get to my rapper Dave later. I've had plenty. There was a Lions backfield that was historic. It was the first backfield to be basically splitting carries and eclipsing 1,000 yards, 1,000 scrimmage yards, and 10 plus touchdowns from both of the backfield duo ever in history. Now, that backfield duo plus our wide receiver duo have done the same thing in the same season for the first time ever. The running backs and the wide receivers, top two, have all eclipsed 1,000 yards from scrimmage for the first time in the history, the 100 plus year history of the NFL. If you want to take out the years where it was 3 yards in a cloud of dust, I don't mind, because I wasn't alive back then. Okay? But I've been alive for quite a while and been watching NFL football for quite a while. And this is something that we've never seen before. All of this is led by a quarterback who is still, albeit very, very minutely, struggling to get his respect from the national media, the pundits. I mean, as recently as, six weeks ago, he was called a civilian. But this civilian has led an offense to a historic record, to historic feats. But this young man, this very young man, I think Jameson Williams is 23. We were tired of his act. Shout out Matt Derry. We overreacted. And by we, I'm just putting myself into this conversation. As the official keeper of the JMO, you know I wasn't part of this conversation, but I was defending him in this conversation. But we, the general public, the general Lions fans, and again, I'm addressing just a very small segment because I believe that this is the very loud, very wrong minority. But I want to talk to you people. Come here. I want to see you. I need an apple. Look a man in his eyes before you kill him. Okay? If you know, you know. Okay? Shout out. Use the hashtag. If you know, you know. I want to talk to you people who were tired of his act because he dove in the end zone a la Marshawn Lynch and grabbed his crotch in a very clear ode to Marshawn Lynch. Now, these people probably had a problem with it when Marshawn Lynch did it, to be fair. But we didn't hear it because Marshawn Lynch played for the Seattle Seahawks. And whatever Lions fans like Matt Derry, and I believe he walked back his comments. And I only believe he walked back his comments because he was getting killed on the internet. Okay? He was getting, boy, Matt Derry. I would have hated to be Matt Derry that day. Now, Matt Derry probably got a bunch of subscribers because controversy sells, and kudos to him. But I would have hated to be him that day and woke up and read my mentions and yeah, people was telling me I could go put this in my mouth and do all this with myself and pause. There was a contingency of you who had a problem when J-Mo got pulled over. I'm sorry, it wasn't J-Mo who got pulled over. It was his brother. I believe they were coming from the east side or whatever. And there were guns in the car. Both of the guns were legal. The brother had a concealed carry permit. The only issue was that the gun that was registered to J-Mo was under his seat. J-Mo and his brother both told the officers, yes, that there were guns in the car. They were legal guns. There was no serial numbers scratched off. There was nobody trying to do anything. Should J-Mo have known the gun laws, particularly in the state that he's in? Yes. There were those that tried to say, well, he was using his standing as a Detroit Lion to try to get out of the trouble. And while he wasn't particularly doing that, he wasn't saying it in an arrogant way. He wasn't being Aaron Rodgers. He wasn't being, do you know who I am? I'm Jameson Williams. I play for the Detroit Lions. Nah, he said it very meekly. Yeah, it was just, I play for the Detroit Lions, though. I can't have this on my name. Right? He's pleading for mercy. Not being an arrogant ass. He wasn't being Tyreek Hill. He wasn't doing that. Okay? Being mad at a person for having guns in Detroit, and he told the officers, yes, I have guns because I live in Detroit. For those of us who are from Detroit, understand the statement. I have guns because I live in Detroit. Okay? Okay. There were guns in my house. All right. You know what I mean? Like, it's got guns. Okay? Grew up around guns. There were those of you that made a big deal about Jameson Williams hanging out at Coney Island at 1 a.m. He shouldn't be doing that. He should be at home in bed. He should be sleeping. He's hanging out with the wrong crowd. Okay, that's fine. Jameson Williams is a kid from St. Louis. If you haven't watched the St. Brown Brothers podcast with Jameson Williams on it, and I obviously know this, okay, but he said the thing that a lot of us already know when they asked him about what's the difference, because Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Equanimous, they're California kids. They grew up in Anaheim. They said, what's the difference between St. Louis and Detroit? And he was like, it's pretty much the same. Okay, it's a tough, gritty, rough Midwest city. All those cities, those major cities, Midwestern area, a lot of them have similarities. A lot of them have a lot of crime. A lot of them have, impoverished neighborhoods, so on and so forth. Every major city in America is the same. New York is the same. Los Angeles is the same. It doesn't matter what area that you're in. If you find me a major city, I will find you crime, impoverished conditions, rundown neighborhoods, abandoned houses, drugs, murder. I will find you all of those things. And this is what Jameson Williams grew up around. And Jameson Williams is in Detroit. He's in a familiar place. He's taken the necessary, means to protect himself. And he feels comfortable going out at 1 o'clock in the morning to Coney Island. And I think, to be quite honest with you, there's Baltimore, they call it Bodymore. Okay, the list goes on, right? Philadelphia. Okay. All right. So I've just named a few. I believe that there is a code in these cities that when your football team is good, the players ain't touchable. Okay? So I think J-Mo is good in the streets. Okay? Obviously, there was the gambling suspension. And I said this before. What came out about the gambling was that Jameson Williams was in a Lions hotel and he was on an online casino. I'm not a gambler. But how does that warrant a suspension from the NFL? Even the NFL thought it was stupid, and they were like, 6 games is a little bit harsh. Let's make it 2. But 2 games because you got on your phone and went to an online casino. What does blackjack or poker have to do with the NFL? It's not even sports. Like, what are we doing, NFL? And then just throw in the injury. He was drafted injured. Why is that a knock on him? He was drafted injured. It's not like he has a long, extensive injury history. By the way, that injury happened in the national championship game. The kid's been a baller. He's been a champion. And there is a segment of the fan base that has done nothing but throw dirt on this man's name. Shout out Flannel Sam. You are one of the original J-Mo haters. And there is a jersey bet where if Jameson Williams eclipses 1,000 yards this season through the air, because he's already done it all purpose, that Flannel Sam will be buying a Jameson Williams jersey. Jameson Williams is 33 yards away. He's 33 yards away from 1,000 yards receiving. And I believe he will eclipse that mark against the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are going to bracket him in coverage. They're going to do everything that they can. But J-Mo can go over the middle. J-Mo can catch a little pop pass in the backfield. J-Mo can run comebacks. J-Mo can run the entire route tree. Good luck stopping him from getting 33 yards. Because they were trying to get it to him last night. But good luck. So all you J-Mo haters, in the immortal words of Kendrick Lamar, sit down. Be humble. All right, I'm off my soapbox. All right, let's get to the comments. So the rapper name, it's a funny story. I'll share it at some point. Funny story. Matt Derry, his channel's name, national name, sounds very familiar to a local channel. I think, what is he, locked? Yeah, locked. Yeah, I got you. I see what you did there. I live in the country. Do I have guns? Yep. LOL number 2. What about Ricky Pearsall getting robbed and shot? Well, John Doe, Ricky Pearsall was in a nice area, quote unquote. So, I mean, yeah. Somebody came from one of these hood areas, as you can call it, to hit a lick. Hello, Christina Marie Rossi. Nice to see you again. So yes, that was my J-Mo soapbox, and now I'm back into the regular situation. Let's talk about Kirby Joseph. Kirby Joseph has 9 interceptions. He's the first Lions player in 40-some years to have 9 interceptions. Let's find out exactly. Who he has joined, because I haven't heard anybody say it see. I'm going to ask Stat Music questions. Let me see if they'll answer. So it didn't understand that one. I said last Lions player to have 9 interceptions in a season. So now let me just ask Google. Because Stat Music didn't understand it. Jimmy Allen. Okay? Jimmy Allen, for the first player since 1981. So that was actually 43 years ago. Okay? Guess what, y'all? I wasn't born. Okay? I was born shortly thereafter, but I wasn't born when Jimmy Allen got 9 interceptions. So Kirby Joseph is the first player since Jimmy Allen to nab 9 interceptions in a season. Kane Press came in saying that she wants Kirby Joseph to get paid. And I have said already, I said earlier in the season, when he was in a battle, which I think he effectively has closed down the battle now, with Xavier McKinney. And I said Kirby Joseph is the next man up. He's the next one. He's getting paid. All right. Hey, Arf from the Woodward Sports Chat. What's going on, Arf? Did they call Jimmy Allen Spider-Man? I'll have to watch some highlights of Jimmy Allen. So shout out to Jimmy Allen. Shout out to Merton Hanks. Okay, shout out to Merton Hanks. Kirby hit that Merton Hanks there. Kirby's got a neck on him, pause, but he ain't got that Merton Hanks neck, pause. Okay, Merton Hanks, very, very elongated neck, very, very elongated, very giraffe-like. Okay, all right. So when he hit, when he hit the dance, that it was a sight to see. And shout out to Troy Aikman talking about how he was victimized a couple of times by Merton Hanks. It was a nice full circle moment to see all of that come together. Oh, you're talking about that Jimmy Allen. Okay. I thought you were talking about the Jimmy Allen on the team. All right. So Kirby Joseph is the next man up. The contract is probably already like in the vault. Brad Holmes just has to go and get it and give it to him and be like, here, sign this. Okay. Kirby Joseph, remember, is doing this in his third well, it's his 4th season, right? It's his 4th season as a safety. He switched to safety his last year in college. He used to be a receiver, which is probably why he has 9 receptions. Okay, this is why he has 9 interceptions. We're going to call them receptions because he used to be a receiver. It speaks to Brad Holmes. Remember, see, everybody thought that Brad Holmes, when he told you he was a cornerback or a DB snob, everybody thought he was just talking about drafting Terrion Arnold or, because we needed a cornerback in this draft, whoever he was going to draft, Terrion or Mitchell or Wiggins, whatever. And he told you he was a DB snob. Remember now, he drafted this man, Kirby Joseph, in the 3rd round. And nobody had heard of him. We had to look him up, right? Because, again, Kirby Joseph, we played Illinois, at Michigan, right? And who's Kirby Joseph? Oh, he only has 1 year worth of highlights? Why is that? Oh, he used to be a receiver. Now he's the league leader in interceptions. And it's not even particularly close. It could be. I mean, Xavier McKinney has 7, and we saw Kirby Joseph going into the game with 7 and coming out with 9. Caleb Williams, say what you want to say about Caleb Williams. Since he was throwing all them picks, his primary objective has been to protect the ball. Too much so, right? Because he holds on to the ball for 8 years. But I don't think Xavier McKinney is picking off Caleb Williams at all in game number 17. But if he does, I think it'll be once. Is Kirby Joseph going to be trying to get number 10? Damn right he's going to be trying to get number 10 against Sam Darnold. Will Sam Darnold throw you one? Yes. Sam Darnold will throw you one. And let's just hope he throws it to Kirby Joseph. I think Kirby Joseph picked him off the first game. Remember Ray Crockett? I do remember Ray Crockett. Let's see. Y'all are pushing 60. I'm not pushing 50. I'm pushing 45. But not really. You know what I'm saying? Just, I still got a few years. I still got a few years in my early 40s. What's the market for safeties? How much will he be paid? $20 million a year. I think you have to look at, is it Justin Simmons that went to the Falcons? Or look at what what's his name? Derwin James is getting. But for some reason, I feel like it was Justin Simmons just because he was the last one signed in free agency. Yeah, we have to look at. We'll get into that. That's off-season stuff. What up with Registrar, and why isn't E-Man playing, especially over Vildor? That one I can't answer. I know Vildor got in. I feel like they just put Vildor in yesterday because it was in San Francisco and they wanted him to taste the field in the victory. But I mean, the game was still in. Was he in at 40-28 or was he in sooner? I don't remember. But E-Man, listen, I keep feeling every week like E-Man is a lost cause. And I don't say that to be insensitive. But if you have to manage a man this much, he plays on special teams. Yes. If he was covering kicks yesterday, he got a lot of work. We scored 40 points. But I'm just, if you got to manage a man this much, if you're not going to put him in because you're afraid of something, I don't know what you're afraid of. I mean, if he's playing 10 snaps on special teams, special teams, I mean, do you guarantee contact? Do you guarantee you're going to get hit? Yeah. Much more than if you're going out there on corner, at corner, if the ball doesn't come to your side, there's no guarantee that you're going to hit anybody. There's no guarantee that you're going to get blocked. There's a guarantee in plays like that you're going to run out in coverage. So I don't know what's happening with E-Man. I have no clue. But like I said, I feel like if he's that valuable to you to have on your team and you don't want to put him out there as a defender because you're afraid that he's going to get injured and be lost for the season, then you just got to bring him back as a coach. Have him start his NFL coaching career early. Those who can't do, teach. And if he can't do anymore, just let him teach. That's what I've been saying about Vildor. But Kirby Joseph is a man that will be getting paid probably as soon as this offseason. Let's talk about a few negatives. And this is a thing that I've been looking at. And if it was J-Mo, so many people would be up in arms. I forgot to talk about the Tyreek Stevenson stuff, the drama that all the J-Mo haters were like, see, this guy, he's so immature, he's hurting his team. And then the NFL doesn't fine him. They fine, what is his name, Stevenson, $20,000 for tripping him out of bounds and possibly blowing snot at him or whatever. Okay. And then the next game, J-Mo did absolutely nothing. He got up and spun the ball and ran back. Oh, I don't know what. That was the softest thing I had ever seen to be called a taunting penalty or unsportsmanlike conduct, whatever it was. And then he got fined to add insult to injury. Like it was ridiculous. Those who can do, those who can't are named Will Harris. Boy, Will Harris is over there starting in New Orleans, and we see what kind of dumpster fire that has turned out to be. Spencer Rattler, I saw him on QB1, I think it was. That was the name of the Netflix show when he was in high school. I'm not gonna say I called it because he was in high school. I don't want to be judging high school kids, but he was very arrogant and he thought a lot more of himself. And now he ain't doing it in the NFL. Once he had to transfer out of Oklahoma, it was like, okay, yeah, this guy, it is what it is. Brian Branch. Brian Branch, as good of a player as he is, he's got to be smarter. He's got to clean up these penalties. I definitely have Will Harris PTSD. Every time I see him over there and they mention his name, I cringe and I'm like, please don't cut this man. Please sign him to a multi-year contract and let him finish his career somewhere other than Detroit. For as good as Brian Branch is, Brian Branch needs to clean up these penalties, man. And I'm not talking about the George Kittle pass interference. Because if George Kittle was 10 feet tall and had a 40-inch vertical, he might have caught that football. Okay? They're very, very inconsistent in the way that they call pass interference. I've seen games this very season, where they threw a flag for pass interference and then they picked it up because it wasn't catchable. Why didn't you do that yesterday? Why didn't you do that last night at Levi's Stadium, where it was clear that George Kittle flopped, number one. And number two, there was no way that ball was catchable by anyone, whether it was George Kittle or Brian Branch. The only person it was catchable by was Kirby Joseph. They wave off the interception, but as Rasheed Wallace used to say in Detroit, ball don't lie. And because the ball didn't lie, the interception went right back to Kirby Joseph. The second penalty, which was the one that had Dan Campbell asking him if he was serious, which was the one that during the second Kirby Joseph interception, Brian Branch wasn't on the field because he was getting chewed out by Aaron Glenn. Brian Branch, you're too good of a player. You're too talented to be getting baited. What we are seeing about Brian Branch is that he is hot-headed. He is a very soft-spoken young man off the field. He's very respectful. Yes, sir. No, sir. He's hot-headed on the football field. Right? And that's a part of what makes him great. The edge that he plays with. Brian Branch is one of those players that has to learn that it doesn't matter what the guy before you did. It's always the second one that's going to be flagged. Jawan Jennings pushed him in the face as he was getting up. Who does that? When you're trying to get up, you put your hands on the ground, not on a person's face who's parallel to you, right? Or perpendicular, sorry. He just mushed him in the face. So Brian Branch swipes his hand away and then pushes him. You know who did something similar to that last year? And I know people are going to hate it. CJGJ. CJGJ did the same damn thing when we were playing Seattle. He did the same thing. And we had just gotten a stop on third down, and they got a new set of downs, and they went down and scored. So Brian Branch must be smarter going forward. He must be smarter. John F. and Lord, you do know I'm already in the new year, right? You do know it's already 2025 over here, buddy. And the future looks bright for the Detroit Lions. Brian Branch has got to be smarter. Arf says, what do you think about the Niner Bounty Gate thing? Is that a thing? Do the Niners have a Bounty Gate thing? I hope it's not this year. Because if you have a Bounty Gate situation, you should at least be good. So I have no idea. I had no idea that they were dealing with Bounty Gate 2.0. What are the accusations? Who did they try to take out? Does anybody know? Let me look this up. 49ers Bounty Gate. Only thing I see when I pull that up is New Orleans. Oh, well, no, that's from 2012. And they were the targets. So I don't know. Arf, if you have more information about the Bounty Gate situation, please let me know. All right. So let's open up this chat, man. We can chat for a little bit. Those were the notes that I wanted to touch on. Jamo, Jameer, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, AG not getting fired, not needing to be fired. He's back to trying to make a salad with spoiled vegetables. He's back to trying to make, rice pudding with spoiled milk. Those types of things. There was a pregame speech talking about injuring us. Wow. That's crazy. Did it surface online? Oh, they have a vid. Listen, what I did see in that game was that the San Francisco 49ers came out with way too much energy, and they were way too hype for a game that meant nothing, especially to them because they've been eliminated from playoff contention. They're not doing anything but going to Cabo or Cancun. So they were actually more juiced for the game than the Detroit Lions were. And so that makes sense. That tracks. If you're trying to injure people, then it did. You saw the Bosa, and he collided with the linebacker as they were trying to headhunt Jared Goff, and they headhunted each other, which was good for them. So yeah, what up, though? 313 Thug Boss. So just. We're not doing a mailbag. Just throw out your comments. We'll address them. We'll talk about them. This is the part where we have a lot of interaction with the chat. We generally have a lot of interaction with the chat here throughout. I just had to hit a clip. I had to toot my horn about JMO. I had to take a victory lap because the haters would have took it if they had the opportunity, but they didn't. Arf, no. I won't do that. Arf, I'm just gonna tell you, gotta save the drama for your mama. You got to save the drama for your mama. That's a channel I don't watch. That's a channel I'm not subscribed to. That's a channel that I don't rock with. Arf, I guess you don't know that I used to be a part of that network. And now I'm back out on my own. So there you go, John Doe. If you ask me about it, I'll say some things. I like to be professional. I don't like to sling mud. I don't like to say people are lying and spreading rumors, like some people say. But yeah, Arf. I was there and I had to go. Like I said, I won't say anything on air. I'm not here to sling mud. I'm just here to keep your Lions news pragmatic. That's all. But that is not something that I'll ever do. But it's all good, Arf. I mean, you didn't know, so you don't have to be sorry. What are we most? I think we're all most worried about the defense going into the Vikings game. I think the adjustments to single high safety that Aaron Glenn made to get those, to put Kirby Joseph in the perfect position to get those picks, I think it was phenomenal. Nah, there's no drama to start. It's there is none. 313 Thug Boss, which info? Oh, were you unaware as well? Listen, if you guys really want to just go talk to Derek. Go talk to Lion Syndicate. Lion Syndicate has all the beef. Pause. But yeah, I think Aaron Glenn, man, I don't know what having 313 Thug Boss is. It was not aware. Why am I not what? Why am I not chef anymore? I'm always gonna be chef, but obviously, just I wanted to completely distance myself. Chef is a character that I created with my kids in 2018, right? It was a character I created with my kids in 2018. I started, I was like a Fortnite streamer or whatever, trying to get on that wave. And then I kept that throughout, the journey, but John Doe, I didn't go on no bus trips. And nobody went on any bus trips. What up, though, Tactical Sport? Glad you made it. Shout out to Tactical Sport, man. Tactical Sport is just, he comes through whether it's at the beginning of the show or like he's just gonna tap in. So I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you with your support always. J Rod says rock on. J Rod, are you still over there? That's the question. I know it took you a while to find me. Tactical Sport, aka Lone Spoon. I'm getting some questions about the artist formerly known as Chef or the artist formerly known as Prince. And, where I was at before and all this other stuff. Loving the pass rush by committee to me is insane. To be in love with something that it's based on necessity. That's like growing up in the hood and be like, I'm in love with eating government cheese. Nobody's in love with government cheese. Those are just your circumstances. Like, when is the last time somebody was like, man, I need to go find me some good government cheese? You know what I'm saying? I made it out the hood, but you know what I missed the most? That's like me being in Australia like, yo, now I never had government cheese, okay? We didn't have a lot of money when I was a kid, but we were considered middle class, right? Lower middle class, whatever. I mean, so shout out if you guys know, if Frank the Tank was here, he would know. Shout out Longfellow, right? I used to live on Longfellow, in one of those big like antebellum houses. The joint was $500 a month. We didn't have heat. We had to sit in front of kerosene heaters. You know what I mean? It was like, across the street there was a crack house. It was just, so when you get out of that situation and you go, man, I really wish that there was a crack house across the street. I really wish that, I had to get back to kerosene heaters. Nobody does that. So being in love with something that's a circumstance doesn't make sense. Tactical Sport, yeah, you know what I mean? Tactical Sport left when I left. Appreciate you, dog. Honolulu Blue Rain. Purple Rain. J Rod, I'll just say bad business practices. That's what I'll say. That's all, Yeah, probably a crack house across the street from everyone. R says LMAO. I wish there was a crack house across the street. What we're doing, pass rush by committee, is because Hutch is out, is because Davenport is out, is because Derek Barnes is out, It's because Aleem McNeil is out. It's because all of the major pieces that were supposed to be part of the pass rush, not by committee, but pass rush by, if you're saying that Derek Barnes is more of a rush backer, right? That's not what pass rush by a committee is. Having multiple people to rush the passer is what all NFL teams want. You know what I mean? That's what you want as an NFL football team. You want to have multiple rushers. You don't want to have to blitz. Look at Baltimore. They don't blitz much. Right? Look at the Baltimore of the 2000s with Ray Lewis. It wasn't about a whole bunch of blitzing. Like when you have a dominant front four that can get to the passer, that's what you want. Because it frees you up in the secondary to do a lot of other stuff. I don't want to generate a pass rush. I want my front forward to all be able to get to the passer, and that's what we had with Davenport, Reeder, McNeil, and Hutch. All of those guys could get to the passer. Reeder is having his best season. I think he has 3 sacks. Best season as a pass rusher. Yeah, and just to say, none of those memberships were going to me. None of those memberships were, it's like I said, bad business practices. You guys, look, I'm gonna ask you guys a favor. You guys that are college football guys and draft guys, y'all gonna have to help me out this offseason, right? So the list of just give me people that you want to see, and you don't have to do it now because I'm not gonna do anything with it now. Right now, my focus is the Minnesota Vikings getting this 1 seed, getting the bye week, making the playoffs. Well, we've made the playoffs already, but getting the bye week and, winning the Super Bowl. That's my focus. But during this offseason, when we're talking about, the draft and free agency, all that stuff, just give me some guys that you think that you would like to see on the Lions, and I'll look into them and all that stuff, and, we'll look at some film and try to see where they would fit on the Lions. Because I have no names. I have done no prep. Like I said, I haven't watched a single, I don't want to say down, but it feels like I've not watched a single down of college football this season. John Doe, man. I ain't gonna say, he's a cool dude, man. I can't say I mess with him because I don't really have any contact, but he's a cool dude. I don't wish anything bad on him, So a group email for like a group chat type of thing. I haven't been paying attention to college football this year. Once I found out Michigan didn't have a quarterback. Exact same. Bruh, I boycotted the season. The only game I wish I would have watched was the Oh Hell No State game, but the last time I boycotted the Oh Hell No State game because I didn't think they had a chance. I think Hutch might have been playing. And then I saw that they were up, so I watched like the fourth quarter or whatever. But yeah, that was a year we were supposed to get blown out too. And they were supposed to get, what were they? Some crazy like 20-point favorites. Like it was crazy. But yeah, I didn't watch it. And I know it's bad, so I'm gonna have to get into it. Oh, yeah, J Rod, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. You were driving semi trucks that year? Shoot, I'm driving this year, but not trucks. I, I went from teaching English to Uber driving, bro. Hutch has been saying. I watched that very zesty podcast. Bro, what's a dude's name? Taylor Lautner, um, aka Shark Boy from Shark Boy and Lava Girl, aka what was he? I think it was Jacob from Twilight. I think it was Edward and Jacob, right? So he's the werewolf guy. Super zesty, but he does the podcast with his wife. But it's just very zesty. He just speaks in a very zesty manner. Okay, I was uncomfortable at times with all the zest that I felt that was going on. But he's been saying that he's been telling people in the facility, y'all just get to the Super Bowl and I'm coming back. I got you. So he's been saying it. He said that after he did the surgery, like immediately after he did it, the doctor apparently told his father that he realistically could be back for the Super Bowl. So he's been locked in ever since. And again, you don't a guy like Hutch, just like Dan said, not gonna count that guy out. That would be the last person that you would count out with his work ethic. He is a Wolverine, right? So he's got the adamantium leg now. So I mean, it all makes sense. The Wolverine with the adamantium leg. Hutch's nickname must be Wolverine. If he comes back, now we got to make the Super. I don't want to qualify this because it's a great nickname. It makes perfect total sense. So we're just gonna start calling Hutch Wolverine. That's it. We're not. I'm not gonna stipulate that he has to be back for the Super Bowl because that's based off the team's success. The team has to get to the Super Bowl. I think the team gets to the Super Bowl, especially with the 1 seed. You eliminate a game that you have to play. You get rest for a lot of these people that need rest. Shoot, but who can we realistically get back in the playoffs? If we get the bye week, Anzo might play this week. Who comes back? We get the bye week and this player on the defense comes back. Maybe Carlton Davis. Like there seems to be some improvement in his status. You know. Paul Thomas, I'm not a Twilight kind of guy. I never watched it. That's why I'm saying, like, I'm just piecing things together. Never watched it, but I do have a wife and a daughter. So, you know, like those types of things can float around the house, you know. Oh, okay. I got you, J-Rod. I understand now. Well, there were a few people that seemed to be in the same boat as J-Rod. We definitely need Anzo back this game. And I think there is the only thing I heard from Dr. Pierce was that what he has heard is that Anzo was having issues with the mental part of coming back. The physical part is fine because, you put screws in that arm and then you put a cast on it. It is what it is. He's playing with a club. Many people have done it before. So, I will not be attending any Taylor Swift concert. Like I said, never watched Twilight. I do have an 18-year-old daughter. You know what I mean? I think she's watched some of it. It's, yeah. I just wanted to give you some context of who the guy is. But I did watch a ton of Shark Boy and Lava Girl because my kids used to watch it all the time. So my daughter and my son used to watch it all the time. I think they were out of that phase when my youngest son came along, but yeah. Taylor Swift concerts. Not me, baby. Yeah, but so that's what I'm saying. Realistically, even with the bye week, we're looking at maybe Carlton Davis. The major pieces like Hutch, Aleem, Barnes, Davenport, Rodrigo, none of those guys are coming back. Again, we're saying Hutch could come back for the Super Bowl, but we have what we have, I think, now. Am I missing anyone? Our linebackers have been getting exposed for not being able to cover. There was San Francisco was lighting us up with the dagger plays. Bro. And the only one we're getting back is Anzalone. So, I mean, can Anzalone cover Hawk? Yes. I don't know that Hutchinson has ever gone off against us as a Viking. Has he? I don't think he's ever gone off. The most, and again, this does start with the linebackers. The most disconcerting thing that I did see yesterday was the 49ers eating down the seams. And that's exactly what the Vikings were doing to the Packers. I mean, they were absolutely eating down the seams. Now, here's the thing. They only beat the Packers by 2 points at home. I expect both teams to be equally as hungry. But we'll see what happens. What is it? Tomorrow's Wednesday. Yeah, so we'll probably be doing the breakdown. I got to ask Easy to come on tomorrow. Wait. Yes, tomorrow's Wednesday. I'm because today is Wednesday for me, so tomorrow's Wednesday for you guys. He didn't. Nah, that's this season. He played. Remember, Kirby's the one that injured him because Kirby's a dirty player apparently. He's played against. I think he played against us both games last season. Yes, and then he got injured because it was like week 17 that we played. Was it week 17? Yeah. That's when we locked up the division in Minnesota. So that's when he got injured. That's why it took him so long to come back this season. I think he's only played in 5 games this season. TM Martin Esquire. Lions dub. That's all that matters. That's true. 100%. Assume we win Sunday. Who will be our most likely opponent based upon most probable winners in wild card weekend? So who's in wild card weekend? Philly is going to be in wild card weekend. They're the number 2 seed locked in. They're going to be playing who? Who would be the number 7 seed? That's what you have to look at. Think we'd be getting the Packers, assuming they beat the Rams. I don't want to see the Packers. I really don't. And it's not because I'm afraid of the Packers. It's because I understand how divisional games work. And I don't want that working. Like, the playoffs is hard enough. I don't need another layer of difficulty playing a playoff game. So really, I don't want to see the Packers or the Vikings in the playoffs. Now you get the 2 seed, or you get the 5 seed if you are the Vikings by losing next week. I think they're going to wind up going to Philly in the divisional. And it's going to be between Philly and Minnesota to see who faces the Lions in the NFC Championship game. Now, if we play the Packers, again, I'm confident that we beat them. Matt LaFleur has been compared to Ryan Day. He could beat everybody else except for, well, this year, I mean, he couldn't beat anybody in the division except for the Bears. So, right now, 7 is Green Bay. They need a win to get back to 6. They're going to get back to 6. They're playing Chicago. They're playing Chicago. So, just check the Bonnygate vid. Meh, definitely some greasy play. I said it with Xavier before. The Kittle is greasy for sure, but I don't know about a Bountygate. Well, I'm pretty sure that if it came from that channel, it was dubbed as Bountygate. Because sometimes things are sensationalized. Oftentimes things are sensationalized. They reseed those, so we would get the lowest winnings. Yeah, that's fine, but it just, if it's the Rams and the Packers, right? Do we think the Packers can beat the Rams? I do. The Rams have been playing pretty poorly. Their offense can't get off, like, they can't play in the first half, aside from that game where they exploded against the Bills. And I just think that was the Bills getting caught in a trap game. They sleptwalked through the game because they thought that they would just dog walk the Rams and be on to the Lions. The intensity that you saw against the Lions, you did not see against the Rams. The Bills were up for that game. They were hungry for that game. Right? They wanted to prove something in that game. Imagine. These are the times. What a time to be alive. What a time to be a Lions fan. People are trying to prove things against the Lions. Not just the Bills. Multiple teams. Every time we play somebody, they're trying to prove something. Hell, even the 49ers last night were trying to prove something against the Lions. But, I don't think the Packers would have too much difficulty, and especially because you're going to Los Angeles. Didn't the Packers already beat them in Los Angeles this year? They don't have a real home field advantage out there. You know what I mean? So I think with the Rams, it doesn't matter if they go on the road or if they play at home. It's a very cosmetic, very plastic, fake society out there. And oftentimes, the other team's fans take over the stadium. That's oftentimes. So I don't know. I think inevitably, if the Packers were to be the 7 seed, if they were to somehow lose to Chicago, and then they had to play the Rams, that's still going to be the lowest winning seed. So there may be a collision course with the Lions. Now, if they get the 1 seed, who y'all want to see in the divisional? I'm going to say, if we didn't have the holes in the defense that we have, all right, let me think about this. Because if it's between like Tampa Bay and the Rams only really use one receiver. And that's Puka Nacua. Cooper Kupp has become like a blocker for some reason. Demarcus Robinson will give you a nice catch here and there. Tutu Atwell's not giving you too much. But Baker Mayfield just seems to be using everybody. He's Mike Evans. He's using Jalen McMillan. It doesn't matter. Bucky Irvin. Bucky Irvin is looking like Jahmyr Gibbs light. I'm not saying he's Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm saying he's looking like Jahmyr Gibbs light. I don't know. I think the Bucs have hit their stride, and they're a pretty dangerous team right now. And, of course, Atlanta choked away the opportunity to keep them out of the playoffs. So, who knows? What up, though, Harpazo? Did I see some of the 40 whiners who were deliberately trying to injure our players? It's pathetic. Arf was saying something about that earlier, yeah. Interesting. Lions versus Vikings got flexed to Sunday Night Football. Speaks volumes. I mean, it's what the NFL wanted. It's what the NFL wanted. And they couldn't have asked for a better week 18. This is the game 17, but week 18 Sunday Night Football matchup is for the 1 seed and the division. So it's what they wanted. They got what they wanted. I'm not a conspiracy theorist saying that games are fixed. All I'm going to say is the NFL knew what it would do to the value of the game and to the challenge of the game to move that extra point from a 5-yard kick to a 30-yard kick or whatever it is, 35 yards. And that was the issue. This is what happened with Arizona. This is why they couldn't beat the Vikings when they played them a few weeks ago, because their kicker forgot how to kick. Their kicker got the Jake Moody's. I've been calling them the Justin Tuckers, but they are definitely the Jake Moody's. Honestly, I'll take any team except the Packers or the Vikings. That's ultimately true. Yeah, I mean, you want to avoid your divisional opponents in the playoffs. It's not good. It's about the money. Oh, you are a conspiracy theorist? Yeah, I don't know, man. The refs, I was talking to somebody about this last night, and the refs just seem willfully incompetent. I think they've made things better with the expedited reviews, but then there's still a lot of gray areas. There's a lot of things that the expedited reviews can't review, right? Like if you're going to say pass interference can't be challenged, pass interference can't be reviewed, The expedited review process should review that, right? Because it's expedited. As long as you're you're showing the instant replay, it's within the 25 seconds or the 40 seconds of the snap clock or whatever, review it. When you have like the George Kittle play and he flops and Brian Branch, is over there and he makes a little bit of contact, George Kittle flops and it's way over his head and it goes to Kirby Joseph. Like I said, ultimately it didn't matter because we got it the very next play, but review that, right? Review that, say, no, it was uncatchable. Therefore, the Detroit Lions have intercepted the football, 1st and 10. I'm good. Welcome back, J-Rod. Hold on. Let me do this right now because J-Rod asked for a group email for you guys to be able to send me stuff for the show, topics, questions, all that stuff. So I've got so many emails that I don't want to make a new one. All right, let's see. Let me archive this so I don't have to see that. So I'll put this email in the chat if you guys want to send me anything, and then I'll just have to check it regularly because I really don't. So it's Chef Talks NFL at gmail.com. Okay. So anybody that wants to send me anything, like I said, if you guys want to support the channel in any way, I can't monetize until I'm at 1,000 subscribers, which another situation, I was responsible for monetizing a channel. If you guys want to support the channel, this is the link for the Buy Me a Coffee. Like I said, you don't have to do any of this. I'm just giving you the option if you want to do it. Let's see. I could make a Discord. You guys want me to make a Discord? Let me put a poll in the chat. Motor City Cats have a Discord. Okay, just I put the poll in the chat. All right, I've got one vote for yes. Oh, sorry, I got 2 votes. So we got yes. Can you get my MySpace? I don't even remember my MySpace. Oh boy, MySpace was supposed to be the wave of the future. You know what I think? Killed MySpace? All that glitter, bro. It just became an eyesore. It just became an eyesore. It was like we hopped off MySpace pretty quickly. We hopped off MySpace and went to Facebook pretty quickly. You know, I gotta get like, I have to do better. And this is probably something I'll do in the off season. I have to do better with my social media. I don't do a great job with it, bro. To be quite honest with you, like I'm on X, as y'all can see. Wait, hold on. As you can see right here. What am I pointing at? Let me see. Yeah, hold on. Boop. I'm on X at MCDP 313, so you can follow me on that. But I don't say much. I need to be better with my social media. Did MySpace become a music platform? I believe that it did briefly, something like that. All right. Just 8 million. I have my IG. What is it? I think my IG is Chef Talks Lions, Chef Talks NFL. I haven't posted anything on IG for so long. Like I said, it's not that I'm a dinosaur. I've just gone through so many iterations on social media. I used to be a poet and you didn't know it. So I had a YouTube channel for that. I had a Twitter for that. You know, just everything, dude. You know, clothing label. Like I've been an internet like businessman for so long. You know, I'm not gonna say that I've made a lot of money off of it, but I've had a lot of ventures that I've gone through. So, he said, wasn't the glitter, the guy who started it was an idiot. He's probably not in your top 8. No, he's not. He's not in my top 8. Height, weight, fingerprints. Paul Thomas, I think he probably just got out. You know what I mean? He probably just said, this is something I started in my basement when people still had Pentium 386s. Or was it probably 486s, right? When people still had Pentiums and stuff. And I started it for nothing. He probably didn't spend a whole lot of money on it, especially if he knew how to code or if he had a coder friend. So he probably just got out. And he saw that it was tanking. I don't think it was worth that much. You know, I don't think MySpace was really worth too much. It was never going to be Facebook. It was never going to be Instagram. It was never going to be Snapchat. It was never going to be any of those things. So I think he just took the 8 million and bounced. I mean, hell, if I had done that and I sold it for 8 million, I'd be very happy. You know what I'm saying? Very happy. Pentium used to be the thing. Using DOS and Fortran. How much longer will Aaron Rodgers be around? Jets got him signed in 2025. No guaranteed money left. But that penalty on the weekend in disaster season is joke. I don't listen. When you have people out here saying the two things that you got to look at. All right. So this poll says that I should start a Discord. So I will start one. You see how the brain works, right? I read it as how much. And then when you said Freudian slip, I looked back at it and said how much. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers. I'm just saying. I'm not saying, but I'm saying. When your top young wide receiver says, if the guy comes back, I want to be traded. when your top young cornerback, who again had a great rookie season and now looks not great, and he's from Detroit, so I'm obviously gonna be on his side and say it's Aaron Rodgers. When your top young, cornerback says, on his IG, when someone says tell him to come to New York, and he says, "I will not," in capital letters, tell him to do that. Like, nobody's even recruiting. Your stars aren't recruiting to your team. It is, you got to get Rodgers out of there for them to have any chance at a culture reset. Rodgers has to go. And anybody that's looking at the debacle in New York, yes, some of it is Woody Johnson, not doing trades because of Madden ratings. Some of it is all that. But, bruh, all you need to know is that a receiver came out and what he said about an all-time great, okay? Talent-wise, accolades-wise, yes. But leader-wise, no. And Devontae wanting to go back to Aaron Rodgers and the friendship, that's weird to me. But when you got guys coming out saying, I don't want to be back if he's back, you just got to move off of him. Who's signing Zeke Elliott? No one should sign Zeke Elliott. So JJ McCarthy, I can't call him a bust because I've never seen him play in the NFL. But the JJ McCarthy thing is very interesting. The smart thing to do and the dumb thing to do. Both of these things are both smart and stupid at the same time because it's a 50-50 proposition, so you really don't know. The smart thing to do right now, after the season, during the draft process, is to take one of these teams that has missed out. Now, is Shedeur Sanders a great quarterback? Is he going to be a star? I don't know. Is Cam Ward going to be a star? I don't know. But those are the top two quarterbacks coming out in the draft, right? So now you've got teams like, not the Raiders. The Raiders pretty much have missed out on an opportunity to get any of those guys. The Jets at 4-12 could be in play. You've got a lot of teams at the top that need a quarterback. You've got the New York Giants, who definitely need a quarterback. Then you've got the Jags and the Patriots, who don't need a quarterback. I'm not a Trevor Lawrence fan, but you just paid him all that money. I don't know if he's completely broken. Maybe just Doug Peterson was supposed to be the quarterback whisperer. Maybe he's not. I don't know. Or maybe Trevor Lawrence just isn't that good. That's probably the best thing, or the best conclusion that I can draw. I say you sign Sam Darnold because he can perform within that system. KOC has come out and said that. You sign Sam Darnold and you trade JJ McCarthy. That's what I would do. And I think you can get some premium draft capital for JJ McCarthy. And then you can land. I don't think you land a Travis Hunter. I don't think anybody that's looking for Travis, like, New England has the number one pick right now. It's likely that the Giants are going to lose. And then I have to see who New England is playing, because they're going to be playing to win. And they probably, who are they playing? Are they playing Buffalo? Oh, yeah. So basically, Buffalo is going to start Josh Allen and then sit him. So he's going to play the first snap just to keep his streak alive. So I think if you're the Vikings, you have to really look at, you've gone 14-2. Hopefully you're not going 15-2. If the Vikings, like, let's say worst case scenario, if the Vikings do manage to pull off the upset against the Lions in Detroit, they're 15-2. They have the bye. They're the number 1 seed, and they won the division with Sam Darnold. If they move off of that quarterback after that season, they deserve to be at the bottom of the division for the next 20 years. Because you're moving off of a guy that you already have seen do something for a guy that missed his entire rookie season due to injury. Yeah, that would be the all-time dumb move, I think, for the organization. So I'd say just trade JJ McCarthy, and it's been nice knowing you, JJ. JJ to the Lions. All right. Say hell no, let dumbass Jets keep him. Sauce will want to come home. Put him in our DB room. I don't think the Jets are dumb enough to just let him walk. But if you could get Sauce for a 6th rounder, that would be the ultimate Brad Holmes move. Arv says let New York have as the Aaron turns, as the world turns. So go the days of their lives. LOL. JJ to Lions. He's 21. There's no way that they trade JJ to the Lions. No way. Because my whole point was you trade somebody with someone at the top of the draft who has that capital, and who could give up a number 1 for him, and then you go and get, further solidify your defense, which is again going to be scary. I think it all falls apart when Brian Flores gets a head coaching job, because the reason that Minnesota is so good is because of that defense. And once they stop running that scheme, because really nobody runs that scheme in the NFL except for Brian Flores. Like, that is a completely unique scheme that nobody else does, which is crazy. See, like the business. Yeah, because the thing is, you have no attachment to JJ McCarthy. And this is a bad quarterback class. Right? JJ McCarthy getting injured, and then they completely repaired the meniscus, so he's not been doing anything. It's not like he's been practicing or anything. So I think in this draft he would be very, very highly valued. I think if he would have come out this year, first of all, Michigan probably would have been a better team. Even though they ended the year on a high note. Shout out. I think you're looking at JJ McCarthy as probably the number 1 overall pick this year, because you're talking about quarterbacks. Darnold isn't just working. He's now a top 5 to 7 QB in the NFL, right? Go with what works. Yes. So I don't see any world in which Sam Darnold is not the starting quarterback going forward in Minnesota. And that's scary, because Sam Darnold was highly, highly touted, and it seems that they fixed him. And we don't want that. We don't like that. We don't need that. But it seems like that's what's happened. Ron Rivera might coach the Bears. That would be, again, a dumb move. Like, if you bring, again, a defensive coach for a rookie quarterback that has had no stability in his first year, the defensive coach has to nail the offensive coordinator, which is what Matt Eberflus didn't do. He has to nail everything on the offensive side, the quarterback's coach, all that. He didn't do any of that. So if Ron Rivera comes in and he doesn't have the right quarterback coach, the right offensive coordinator that understands how to reach Caleb. Caleb has one specific problem. He was allowed, probably through high school and definitely through college, to fall in love with the hero ball. And that's why he holds the ball for 15 seconds. And that's why he's been sacked 60 plus times. That's it. So if you can't find a coach that will coach that out of him, it's never going to work. He's going to be a bust. He has all the talent, but it's just that one thing that he does, and that one thing that he does doesn't allow him to read defenses properly, and it doesn't allow him to get rid of the ball, and he takes too many sacks. That's why they lose. Agree, no effing way does J.J. McCarthy go to the Lions. Brad ain't going for that. I think it's the team that would be dumb to trade JJ to the Lions is Minnesota. But it's Jared Goff is what? 30? Like, did he just turn 30 this year? You're looking at Jared Goff, if he continues to play at an elite level and he continues to, now Jared Goff has the mindset. Now Jared Goff has been developed, which is why I don't think that Ben Johnson leaving would be such a detriment to Jared Goff. He's had the stability. He's had the 3 years with the same offensive coordinator, the same quarterback coach, the same system. He's understanding protections. He understands how to command an NFL defense to go against an NFL offense to go against an NFL defense. So this version of Jared Goff is not the version of Jared Goff that got here, but this is the version of Jared Goff that you believed that you could get when you drafted him number 1 overall. So you're looking at him probably being your quarterback for the next 5-6 years, into his mid to late 30s. Tom Brady was just, that's why Tom Brady's the GOAT. I mean, but if you want to say a person has a similar skill set, you can say that Jared Goff does have a similar skill set. If he becomes the commander in chief that Tom Brady was, then yeah, sky's the limit. Even if you had an attachment, the Darnold experiment is working. You run with it until it stops working. Yeah. That and if you're saying now look at Tom Brady, yeah, because if you're talking about that comment, yeah, you had Drew Bledsoe. Tom Brady got in, and that was it. Drew Bledsoe was out. So yeah, 100%, I can understand that one. Should I do the Discord now? Hold on. Anyway, obviously the Discord will be Motor City Cats. Hold on. I have a Discord, which is my main, which I don't really use too much anymore, but I don't want to sign out on that phone because I don't remember the password. Because it was like a throwaway account, which I made my main account, and like I said, don't remember the password, so I'll sign out of this one. and I'll create another one. But like I said, it definitely will be Motor City Cats. I call them trolls. All right. And I'll just use my Chef Talks email. That'll just make it easier. We had a Vikings troll when we were streaming the whatchamacallit, the Packers and the Vikings game. Bro, I mean, just refusing to give the Lions any credit was wild. Just refusing to give them any respect. All right, so the Discord. Hold on, I have to do this freaking thing. All right, it's done. So all I have to do now is just do the profile picture. What do you think about Commanders? Jeremy Reeves proposing his girlfriend post game after clinching the playoff berth. Then word says NFL fined him, and Kia Chick says he flew her out. What I think about that is that you gotta have all your ducks in a row, especially if you're doing something publicly. That didn't make any sense. That did not make any sense. So I'm just gonna put a temporary AI Lions helmet that I generated as the profile picture, and I'll put the logo up there in a bit. But the Discord is up. Anybody that wants to join it, the Discord is Motor City Cats. J-Rod, you can tell me in the Discord what you were told, because I'm pretty sure there was some dirt thrown on my name. And Reeves wish he hadn't done that. That's wild. That is wild. Oh, you flew a chick out for an escapade, and then 2 weeks later you propose to your girlfriend. Like, in this world of social media, and everyone has a platform, and everyone can get to everyone, and everyone can get their message out. You can't do that. You just can't do that. It just doesn't make any sense. Integrity. It's funny. Derek is an integrity type of guy as well. That's the word that he says all the time. And some people just don't have any integrity. They just don't have any integrity. But, the thing about this J-Rod is that the truth comes to light. They say what you do in the dark comes to the light. So, the truth shall set you free, and it sets you free. Reed should have proposed like Penei Jr. Yeah, low key, super low key. He shouldn't have. Nobody should have known that he proposed, especially if he did that a few weeks ago. All right, guys. People are starting to move around the house. Sleeping in. It is a public holiday here. It is the 1st of January, 2025. And this is my first podcast of 2025. So, hopefully the year will be a better year than 2024. Hopefully today will be better than tomorrow. This is always the mantra. We look for improvement every single day. We look to be better people. Better husbands, better fathers, better sons, better daughters, better wives, better everything, right? Better teachers, better doctors, lawyers, better podcasters, better human beings. So if that is not your goal for today, don't think about what your goal is for the year. Think about what your goal is for tomorrow. Think about what your goal is for the current day you're living in. We all have to do it one day at a time. That's how all humans have to operate. So I make goals, short-term goals, long-term goals are a little bit more difficult. But the short-term goal is always to be better tomorrow, or better today than I was yesterday, and better tomorrow than I am today. So I appreciate you guys, man. I will say J-Rod, Syndicate's a good dude. I have a relationship. Pause. I have a relationship with Syndicate now. When I was in the other place, a lot of things were said about him too. So, like I said, I'm pretty sure that a lot of things are being said about me. But it is what it is. But join the Discord, guys. Motor City Cats. I appreciate everyone supporting me all throughout. And it wasn't really all throughout. Well, yes, your support from the other channel of me, your support from my new channel, your support from my previous channel, from before, when it was just Chef Talks Lions, by myself in the kitchen. But I appreciate everything that you guys have done. I appreciate your time. Nobody said that you had to sit here for 2 hours and chop it up, but you did it. And that's a testament to you, and that's a testament for the appreciation that you guys have for me. So I definitely have to give it back to you. And like I said, this is authentic. I love talking to you guys, hanging out, chopping it up. That's why my show is an hour, and then the talking part is all, the socializing part is always longer than that. So it is what it is, guys. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Make sure that you are safe. I was out last night making sure others were safe. So that's what it is. You don't want to be celebrating a new year and not be able to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you're safe. Enjoy your friends and family. Enjoy your time. And I'll see you guys next year. You're already seeing me next year. But it is what it is. Motor City Cats back at it. Came to give you stats, not static. Whatever you do, and I can't tell you what to do. I can't stress this enough. If you do want to take my advice, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And we are out.